Rev up your engines!
Well, Fisker, that electric car company, finally got cars out there. There's only one problem. They're falling apart for the people who bought them already. It's called the Fisker Ocean. I mean, what a stupid name, right? There it is. It just looks like another SUV. They kind of stole the Range Rover back on it, right? Well, they got them out. The problem is they're falling apart. They're losing power. They're stopping while they're driving down the road. They're locked out of the vehicle, or they're in the vehicle and they're locked in and they can't get out. In the past few months, Fisker Ocean SUV customers have reported more than 100 separate loss of power incidents. I'd like to be going down the road and your car just stops. But they've also lost braking power. So bad enough that they stop by themselves. Well, then when you want them to stop, they don't stop. Here's what Fisker says about their future. Fisker's electric truck will be the Ferrari of pickups. What does that mean? They'll be overpriced junk that falls apart in front of their... Maybe they will be the Ferrari of pickups, you know? Ferrari's got a name, right? That's all they got is a name. They're overpriced piles of junk. The resale value is practically nothing. The company tells people what they can and can't do with their own cars. You can't paint them certain colors. You can't do modifications they don't like. I mean, who the heck would buy a car like that? I mean, they talk about snob-a-rama. I mean, look at the things that have happened to these people. People are locked inside or outside of their cars. Seat sensors don't detect the drivers, and the SUV's front hood suddenly comes flying up at high speeds on people. Gee, I thought Tesla made crappy electric vehicles. Hey, these guys take the cake. Maybe they should send them to the ocean and let them sink and give up with it. These people, they're just pushing this crap out. They're not even obviously testing them very well, right? Imagine you pay all that money on one of those things, and then the hood flies up, or it stops by itself on the highway, or it won't stop when you want it to. Man, alive. It shows more and more. People are just pushing this electric stuff out. I suppose a company like this is realizing, well, the end is near. If we don't start producing stuff, soon maybe people won't even buy the stupid thing. So I can't wait till their Ferrari pickup truck comes out. That should be even funnier. If you've been following me anytime, you know I say you gotta be wary of statistics, because you can prove just about anything you want. You can turn a mountain into a molehill, or a molehill into a mountain. Well, even the scientists are trying this crap now. Look at this. Fake scientific papers push research credibility to a crisis point. Tens of thousands of bogus research papers are being published in journals, an international scandal that worsens every year, if the scientists warn. Even medical research is being compromised. Automotive research, drug development research. Last year, the annual number of papers that were retracted by scientific journals topped 10,000 for the first time. So they're putting these papers to these journals, and for the first time, 10,000 of them have been retracted. 10,000 lying, made up, supposed scientific reports. The problem is, it's not science. It's that science is not being applied correctly. You're supposed to look at all the information, think about it, and then try to explain why that information exists, right? Well, what's happening now is people already have their stupid theories, and they're working backwards, and they're just trying to prove their own dumb theory. You know, like ages ago, the tobacco companies hired scientists to try to prove that tobacco smoking was good for you instead of bad, right? And I mean, they slant all their stuff like everything else. I've seen reviews of cars, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. These companies are saying these cars are great. It's because they just lie about stuff and they hide information. I had a customer, had a Chrysler, and she got called on the phone years ago when I was in Houston, and they said, what do you think of your new Chrysler? It was some company that was doing research, in quotes, right? She says, this is the worst pile of crap I ever had. As soon as she started talking, the guy hung up on the phone because he didn't want to include bad data, because obviously this research company wanted to prove that Chryslers were great cars, and then they put out data that said, oh, this is one of the best cars out there, right? You can't come up with an idea and then prove it with, in quotes, research when it's tainted like that. That's the problem today. These people are getting paid. Hey, they're told, you want to prove this. Well, of course, you can get all kinds of weird statistics and find some anomaly. Like years ago, BMW had this ad that this one particular BMW had the best resale value. Well, it only did for like a few months, and it was only because it was was a bizarre model that they hardly sold any of them. So, of course, the resale value was good because people that wanted it, there were hardly any of them for sale, so the resale value went up. Like today, there's idiots out there paying $200,000 for a Tesla Cybertruck. They're rare, people are buying them, and then they're reselling them to fools for $200,000, and people seem to be buying them. A few fools, right? So, I mean, it's gotten to the point that you really don't know who to believe anymore. If these 10,000 scientific journals had to be retracted, and some of these scientists say, hey, baby, that's just the tip of the iceberg. There's a bunch more under there people have been doing for decades. It's not anti-science that I'm talking about. The problem is science is not applied correctly. They try to use pseudoscience to prove what they want people to believe, right? Real scientists don't come in with a preconceived notion. Problem is a lot of the scientific research is done and funded by corporations who have a vested interest to sell you the crap that they have. Whether it's dangerous or not, they're going to try to prove that it isn't dangerous so they can sell it to you. Oh, well, here's a real shocker. The government has found out that there's a greater than expected investment in EVs, wind, and solar, and it's swelling the cost of the IRA, the Inflation Reduction Act, right? It's all based on tax credits, right? So that means you're going to pay less tax. Well, the idiots in the government are finding out, gee, there's a lot of money we're not collecting now because these people are supposedly spending it on solar panels and windmills and stuff like that, right? Well, I'll tell you what the half of it is. Half of the stuff is just pure con. Look at, over the years, you'll find Medicaid has been cheated out of billions of dollars by corrupt insurance people and corrupt doctors that are collecting on people that are dead, or they're not even doing what they say they're doing, but they say that all these people are using it and they collect the government funds, right? You know it's going to be corruption if it has to do with government and money. And of course, they're given a tax credit. Well, that means those people aren't going to pay tax they were going to pay, and so the government doesn't have that money. Now, this Congressional Budget Office now says the inflation law energy provisions are going to cost $428 billion more than we originally projected. Okay, it's bad enough that they're giving away this government money, right? $428 billion extra. That's a lot of money, you know? I can imagine how much of it is graft and corruption. Geez, it might even be 50%. A lot of times the Medicare stuff is like that, right? But all this extra money, well, gee, we didn't think it was going to work out like that. It just shows you these people in the government, they're idiots. They don't know anything about what they're doing. They throw things out there, and then it comes back in their face like, gee, we're not going to get $428 billion in taxes that we thought we were going to get. Now, that's a reasonable chunk of change, right? And these idiots didn't even think about it in the first place. And now they're saying, gee, what are we going to do? And that's the Congressional Budget Office's projections that they put out this week. Just their projections. It could even be worse. And the Budget Office also said this. The agency said it's reducing its projected revenues from gasoline excise taxes based on technical factors. What? Based on technical factors? I mean, come on. These people have no idea what they're doing. The bozos are driving the bus. Nobody knows what direction they're going in. And they're dealing with billions of dollars flying out the bus windows while they're having a clown drive the bus in whatever direction he seems to want to dart from 1 minute to the next. It's starting to get insane. Well, there's crazy wrecks in my hometown of Houston. Tells you better watch out and be careful of what's happening because you don't know what is going to happen on the road today. What crazy nonsense will happen. You can't make this stuff up. I mean, you'd say, oh, that's a bad plot for a movie. The only problem is it's real. This woman, Tina Tillman, had just arrived at work at Jet Machine Works. Chunk of cement flew through the window because 30 yards away, a stolen truck hit a semi-trailer and crashed. The guy who stole the truck ran out of the smashed stolen truck, went into these guys' parking lot and stole one of their trucks. And the guy's truck, who they stole, was the son of a guy who had the tow truck that came to tow away the first stolen truck. And they stole the son's truck. And the driver is still on the run. He's taking off with the son's truck and he's gone. I mean, you got to be aware of your surroundings these days. I mean, a woman with a piece of cement came through the window, and then next thing somebody runs in and steals one of their employees' pickup trucks. You really need to be aware of your surroundings. You know, stop spending all your time looking at your phones. Look at the real world while you're going around. You see some crazy stuff is going on. You see some nut running away. Hey, you know what you do? Lock your doors and drive away yourself. Don't let the nut come up to you and then steal your car, right? Be aware of what's happening. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.